Hello lovely people, this is Kitten from the Kitten and the Goat. I help knitters find out about all the fiddly little bits without getting confused and complicated. Now this is our first technique. We're in the shop, everybody's going past. This is the first technique video of the year, and what I thought I'd do is show you how to find out a little bit more information about the yarn you're using.
Down a little alley in the heart of Kendal town is a tiny independent yarn shop. Welcome to the wonderful world of the Kitten and the Goat.
I pulled a few random yarns off the shelf for us to look at. You'll find quite a lot of useful information on the band. Now, obviously it tells you who made it, it tells you what the range is. It will tell you what the thickness is. The thickness is also called the weight, which just to confuse us. So you have how much a ball weighs, which is 100 grams, and the weight of the yarn is double knitting. You also have loads of other interesting stuff. You've got your care instructions. You've got the size of the needle that you need to work the yarn on. Double knitting, 4mm. You've got a tension square. To be honest, do I bother with tension? No, not a lot. If you were using a really expensive wool and you were doing a very intricate pattern with darts and shaping, I might look at it. But these days, most of the patterns are so loose, it doesn't matter. And we're constantly changing what we're doing with the patterns anyway. It gives you what the yarn is made of. This one is 100% acrylic. It also gives you how long this piece of string is. A lot of American patterns, you will find it asking for length, and they still measure in yards. So there's 320 yards on here, 290 meters. And then you've got the manufacturers. So let's compare. Let's compare with this one, because here's a big contrast for you. This is why they put yardage on the balls as well as weight. These are both 100-gram balls. This is acrylic. This is a 4-ply. It's bamboo cotton, and that's a bit of nylon. Nylon doesn't weigh anything. But because this is a natural fibre, because this is cotton, you get a lot less. You physically get a lot less. But don't forget, it's 4-ply, so you get twice the length that you would expect to get on here, because double knitting is twice the thickness of 4-ply. So if this was double the length, you'd 640 yards, and this is actually 492 yards. You get less with natural fibres simply because they weigh heavier. It will also tell you, there's your care instructions. This gives you two options, because you can work it on a 325mm needle or a 225mm needle, and it gives you a tension square for both of them. You break down as well. We have also got, this is another one that's really going to fuse you. Snuggles. Now this is 100 grams, remember, this is 100 grams, okay, and this is 50 grams. Polyester. It's because it's spun and fluffed up so much, it takes up extra space, and you would look at that and think that was no thickness at all. But it is a chunky. It is to be worked on 6mm. There's your length, 137 yards, 125 metres, 50 grams. So if you went into the shop and looked at that, you might think it was 100-gram balls and wonder why it didn't go very far. Look at the band. Ask. I mean, if us proper wool shops will know all this and will be able to tell you how this behaves. This is Masquerade. This is a chunky. 100 grams. Looks pretty similar to this. Chunky. It's twice the thickness of this, so you expect to get about half the length. Tells you on the side that's 150 metres, and this was 290 metres, so that's pretty much it, isn't it? That's 290, so half of that, 300 metres is 150 metres. Premium acrylic. Care instructions. Your knitting needle size in the metric 6mm and in old money. The old US are still working in our old English number system. They are the same thing. It's not something different that they've come up with. They just didn't change when we went metric, and we did. This one again. This is hugely popular. Can't keep it on the shelf. The Shush. Something I've literally only just noticed because I was listing it to put it in the window. It's got some wool in it. It's 550 metres, 601 yards, which is massive. It's 100 grams, and it's got some wool in it because it's fluffy. These fluffy fibres take up the extra space on the needle. It doesn't look quite comparable to that one, but it certainly doesn't look as thick as that one. This is why you've got your information on the band, because you look at that and you think, oh, well, that's not double knitting, I'll knit it to 4-ply. And you'd end up with a huge, great, lumpy piece of work, because the fluff does a lot of things. You've got your care instructions as well. There we go. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into the information that you can find on a ball and why it's there, how you can manipulate and change the patterns. Once I get you designing and working out your own patterns, these bits will come in useful. But the other stuff on there, what it's made of, what to knit it with, if you're a beginner particularly, what to use. I mean, I instantly know and I change things, but if you're a beginner and you look at that and you think, what do I do it on? It tells you. So, especially some of these big, fancy, chunky yarns. I've got a ball of tinsel. Where's my tinsel? There we are. I'm making festival boleros. This is the chunky tinsel. And you would look at that and you would not know where to start. You would look at that cord in the middle and think, okay, 4mm. 4mm. No, it's polyester lurex, 6mm. It's because all the hair takes up extra space. That's a 50-gram ball. 70 metres. So 70 metres, so 100 gram would be 140. So it's about the same weight as you would expect. So there we go. Anything else you want explained, just let me know. It's a good insight as to what's on the bands and why they put it there. Okay, talk to you later.